could be looks, personality, charisma, great conversation, or a family-oriented mindset. Anything. I would love to hear about anyone's experiences or thoughts on what is most important to you. Thank you for the wonderful comments. I appreciate all of them so far. I would love to hear more opinions. Some of the comments are really touching. Great job to everyone for sharing. Some comments also made me smile. Please feel free to share your thoughts at any time. Your input is always welcome. Story 1. Similar values and worldview. 2. Can calmly communicate through productive discussions. 3. Loyalty. 4. Unpopular, but being clingy and possessive without the controlling behavior that tends to accompany those traits. V. Being someone I could confide in about almost anything without using information against me later or expecting me to pretend to be perfect. 6. Enjoys teasing me in all the right ways. 7. Trusts me to be loyal, to be someone she can confide in completely, to follow through on my promises, and to always have her best interests in mind. 8. Her strengths balance my flaws and vice versa. It's important to have common ground, but I also wouldn't want to date a female version of myself. Story 2. Intelligence and curiosity are important qualities. I enjoy spending evenings cuddling and chatting. My wife often reads various books on history and philosophy, providing us with interesting subjects to discuss. I truly appreciate that about her. Open communication is another key aspect. I haven't had a serious argument in my relationship for 10 years. When we face issues, we always find a way to resolve them respectfully and constructively. Story 3. Loyalty. A lighthearted attitude and helping around the house are important to me. I don't want to do everything. I'm not looking for a bossy partner, just someone who wants to be there with me, doing things together. Story 4. The best advice I could give younger individuals is that if you are looking for a long-term partner, appearance should not be your primary concern. They should be attractive to you, but not necessarily the most attractive person available. Choose the best person you can and treat them as you would want someone to treat your daughter. Story 5. My wife and I have been together for 19 years. We were supposed to be just friends with benefits when we met, but we have been by each other's side through thick and thin since our first date. There is a long story about how we met. When I reflect on our life together, it can be hard to pinpoint exactly why our relationship is special. As we have aged together, I am 59 and she will be 58 this year, I realize that it can't be solely physical anymore. We have both gained a few extra pounds and accumulated scars and lines, but we still enjoy each other's company. It's primarily because we are each other's friends. We treat one another with respect and love. Yes, we have had disagreements along the way, but there has never been any shouting or cursing. We both experienced that in previous marriages, and when we first became a couple, we established guidelines for what we wanted in our relationship, as well as deal breakers such as lying, cheating, abuse of any kind, and disrespectful treatment. There isn't a day that goes by when we leave for work that we don't express our love for each other and share a kiss at the door. Even while walking around the house, I always make a point to touch her gently as we pass by. I want her to know that I love and need her. I enjoy making her laugh, and she appreciates my humor. Sometimes it's just little things that happen during the day that inspire a funny joke. We each have our own hobbies and do not interfere with one another. We may offer advice if asked, but we try to respect each other's passions. I stay out of the finances. She has it all handled. I ask questions but rely on her to manage everything. My wife is intelligent and I value that. She works in construction and has been in the field for 28 years, so I know how hard she works. I respect her profession and do not diminish her role in what is often considered a man's job. We both work in physically demanding jobs, so we appreciate the effort each of us puts in. We understand the importance of working toward our shared goal of retiring together someday. During the growing season, we garden together, enjoying the process of cultivating vegetables and flowers. I handle most of the heavy lifting, but she can dig just as well as anyone. A strong relationship is built on respect, honesty, passion, and above all, communication. If our communication falters, so does the relationship. We never let issues fester for days. While we may get upset, We address conflicts promptly, discussing what bothers us and finding resolutions. Remember, everyone brings baggage into a relationship. Take care of your issues before entering a new one. Sometimes there are stains that are difficult to remove no matter how hard you try. Accept this, choose your battles wisely, and recognize that minor annoyances can be easy to manage. If you escalate small issues, you will end up with larger ones as well. Story 6. Being able to have meaningful conversations is important to me. I appreciate a cultured woman and do not want to be with someone who bores me. As someone else mentioned, intelligence and curiosity are key. Story 7. Loyalty, personality, and a family mindset are essential, as this individual will eventually become your wife and the mother of your children. While great banter and physical attraction may create chemistry, these factors alone do not sustain a family or marriage. Story 8. First is intelligence. Next is fiscal responsibility. A woman who understands the value of a dollar and will not spend money frivolously. Being smart also means she is less likely to fall for scams. This assumes that all the important qualities are met. I am not going to rush into a relationship with the first woman I meet simply because she is intelligent and frugal. I am discussing what makes someone a suitable partner. Story 9. I value a woman who is kind, loyal, and genuinely comfortable in her own skin. Over the years, I have become well acquainted with my shortcomings, so she earns major bonus points if her strengths complement my weaknesses and vice versa. I am reserved, so it is nice if she is outgoing. I can be practical, even cynical at times, so it is nice if she is more optimistic. None of these traits are deal breakers. I just think it is great when neither of us is redundant in any given scenario. I am the custodial parent of 2 children, so she will need to be accepting of kids. My youngest is 10, so there is no flexibility regarding children for the foreseeable future. Story 10. Authenticity, accountability, and integrity. I don't know if it is because of where I live, but having these 3 qualities in a significant other is like finding the Dragon Balls. Story 11. A sense of humor, kindness, and the willingness to engage in any activity with me and enjoy the moment, even the silly ones. Story 12. Mental strength and discipline are crucial. Her ability to do things she doesn't want to do in the moment, but that may benefit her or us later, is commendable. She is not evasive about problems and holds no resentment. Story 13. Kindness is important. I dated very beautiful women, and among them were some truly good individuals. However, I remember 2 instances where I felt that if I stopped going to the gym or helping them financially, they would leave me. I have never felt more lonely. Looks fade, so stick to being a kind person, and you will go far in life. Story 14. Loyalty will be the objective answer because there is no long-term success without loyalty. However, intelligence, charisma, humor, and emotional awareness are also important. All of this falls under communication. If I were to partner with a woman for an extended period, I need to enjoy talking to her. Story 15. I would love a woman who could support me as I navigate life's struggles and strive to grow. Just keep me on course because stress from the world can be overwhelming at times. Regarding mental stimulation, I wouldn't want her to work too much. I'd hope to handle that for her. However, I must say that a nice sandwich prepared after a long day at work would make me appreciate my partner for a lifetime. Story 16. Being able to hold a conversation seems important. However, many responses are often just yes or no answers, which can be a huge turn-off. Story 17. Shared values and a similar worldview are important. All aspects of a relationship change over time, but as long as you start from a similar place, you are more likely to grow in the same direction in the long term. Story 18. Having the same values and outlook as I do, being straightforward, and being an honest communicator. Story 19. I have been with my partner for 20 years. You cannot be your best self over 20 years. There are ups and downs. What I value most in my wife is her ability to overlook my inadequacies during those challenging times. In other words, it is her commitment not to me but to us that I value the most. To mention her appearance or some aspect of her personality would suggest that she must meet my standards, which overlooks the crucial truth that she is amazing just as she is. We make a good team because we both want our relationship to succeed. At the end of the day, what draws a couple together is simply the fact that they have shared so much. She has changed over the years, but superficial aspects do not matter to me. She has supported me through success and failure. We have raised children together, traveled the world together, and attended the funerals of our fathers together. We have lived a life together. No one can replace that. Story 20. A family mindset is essential. Cleanliness, intelligence, self-care, future orientation, graciousness, and gratitude are important traits. Physical appearance is also a significant factor, as some level of attraction is necessary. Story 21. Charity must demonstrate that she will interpret my actions, words, and choices with the best possible intentions. Story 22. She is fit and gets up in the morning, and we go out and do things. We laugh and joke together, and sometimes we partake in activities. It doesn't hurt that she looks good too. Just saying. Story 23. Being supportive in both big and small things is important. It doesn't have to be unquestioned, but it should be based on some level of trust. Story 24. Similarities. There is something truly special about finding a woman who shares my passion for punk rock. Story 25. If she is sweet and has a good heart, there are many bad people but few beautiful women inside and out. Story 26. I'm describing my wife's traits in no particular order. She's fun to talk to and a great conversationalist. Fights fairly in arguments, is attractive, is openly affectionate both verbally and physically, compassionate, and loves both of our families. Story 27. Emotionally intelligent, career or goal-driven, and knows how to make their partner feel desired. My top 3 qualities include: dresses well for the occasion and is inclusive yet socially independent. That would round out my top 5. Story 28. The fact that after more than 5 years, she doesn't say, "I am bored now," "We are not the same now," or "I don't feel like loving you anymore," is significant. Story 29. Ability to hold a conversation, beliefs in foundational aspects that roughly align, such as political views, religion, and values. Intelligence comes before appearance. Story 30. I don't have enough dating experience to answer this question, especially the long-term part. If I had to guess, I would say that good values and intelligence are important. Story 31. Someone who is modest, smart, funny, intelligent, has good communication skills, provides peace and love, is Christian, and wants marriage and children. Story 32. Has a reasonable sense of what is good and actively tries to embody that. This leads to honesty, acknowledging mistakes, and making efforts to correct them. Cannot rely on loyalty. I would prefer to trust that you will do what you believe is right. Story 33. Wife ability, intelligence, emotional availability, shared interests, emotional maturity, avoid playing games, asking hypotheticals, or trying to make him jealous. Healthy lifestyle, physically active and disease-free, healthy and secure attachment style, always learning and trying new things, not a homebody. Story 34. Loyalty, integrity, and accountability are important values. I believe that personal history matters, and I prefer a partner with a lower number of past relationships. I am not interested in a woman with whom I could encounter multiple individuals from her past. While some may disagree with this perspective, statistics indicate that women with higher relationship histories may face challenges in long-term commitments. In the United States, divorce can have severe consequences for men, often leading to substantial financial and emotional distress. Many men find themselves homeless and struggling after a divorce, even when they have done nothing wrong. The support systems often favor women, leaving men to face significant hardships. It is disheartening to see this situation treated lightly or even celebrated by some. Story 35. Emotional intelligence is the ability to self-regulate. It involves being able to enjoy one's home without the need to go out all the time. Story 36. Trust. I have been with my wife for 15 years. Through thick and thin, she has shown me that I can trust her. I have serious trust issues, And I am not perfect. She thinks I am despite my flaws, which is adorable. When we had children and our intimate life slowed down, I experienced a moment of doubt, wondering if I could trust her. However, I realized I was projecting my own insecurities. That realization made me understand just how important trust really is. I trust her with our children, my life, my finances, my sanity, and my health. She is my home. Wherever she is, that is home for me. If anything were to happen, I would do my best to move on. But I know in my heart that no other partner could ever be as close to me because of the depth of our trust. That trust is a fortress against the turmoil of the world and a foundation for the well-being of our family. Story 37. How does she handle failure and criticism? How does she manage intimacy after the honeymoon phase? How does she handle finances? Will she age gracefully or neglect her appearance? Story 38. How intelligent she is and how aware she is of the things around her in general. Additionally, good character plays an important role. Story 39. Curiosity, adventurous spirit, and the ability to make sound long-term decisions are important qualities. A person who knows how to make moves that set them up for success is proactive, sweet, consistent, aware, accountable, and practical. I value a healthy mix of going out and staying in, meaning they can switch things up. I firmly believe that a night on the couch watching a movie counts as quality time. My audiovisual setups are excellent, and I truly enjoy this experience. However, if someone spends too much time looking at their phone, it is an immediate turn-off. Story 40. Taking care of themselves, not in a way of covering up bad habits, but in a way that includes exercising, eating healthy, managing stress well, and having a financial plan. Story 41. Loyalty and commitment should be present during difficult times, not just the good ones. I supported my ex during her challenging periods, but when I faced my own physical health issues, her love vanished. As a result, I now struggle with trust issues. Story 42. Between my last girlfriend and my wife, there were about 5 years from the time my girlfriend and I broke up to when I met my wife. The first couple of years, after being hurt by my girlfriend, I was too upset and angry to pursue a relationship. Once I moved past that phase, I started looking for a significant other again. Took a few more years before I found my wife. November will mark 30 years together. While there are many beautiful women out there, physical attraction can only last so long. Eventually, meaningful conversation becomes essential. If the person you are with is unable to engage in intelligent discussions, the relationship is unlikely to last. When I spoke with my aunt's wife, I mentioned that it was challenging to find a woman who met all my expectations. The women I grew up around, my mother, grandmothers, and aunts, were strong, capable, and intelligent. It would be disrespectful to them to bring home anyone less than that. It's an additional bonus that my wife is attractive. Story 43. Intelligence and health are important priorities. In a long-term relationship, it's essential to partner with someone who can intellectually stimulate you and maintain their health later in life, allowing you both to engage in physical activities. Story 44. 1. Great communication. Teamwork. It's related to the first point, as I believe that without someone being a good communicator through verbal and nonverbal cues, it is really difficult to understand what is going on in someone's mind. So at least during the initial stages of the relationship, I would expect them to be as open as possible. They should have a hobby or at least be inclined to engage in activities independently without being dependent on me. Life is difficult and busy, and I would expect them to learn, grow, and experience new things. I do not mean that they should go on solo trips while leaving me behind. Rather, I mean pursuing something that excites them in their life. This could be as simple as gardening, singing, arts, crafts, and so on. Related to the previous point, this helps both individuals in the relationship to grow, as we will have new conversations to engage in. Playful debates are enjoyable, and these new topics can make the relationship more harmonious. I would definitely love and want her to be similar to me, but at the same time, different in certain ways. It would be difficult to argue with myself. Jokes aside, it is beneficial because it allows you to see another perspective while maintaining your own viewpoint. Story 45. For me, it is the willingness to be open, communicative, warm, and comforting. I appreciate a woman with strong arms to hold me, a soft heart to love me, and I also like to feel needed. If you were going to love me right. If you were going to hold me tight. If you were going to touch me, do not leave a bruise behind. Story 46. She has to laugh at my silly jokes and endless puns because she actually finds them funny. Laughter is very important. There are only two times when all the pressure of the world recedes: when you are laughing out loud and when you experience joy. Story 47. I will use my wife's qualities as my willingness to marry her endorses her attributes: attractive, sense of style, feminine, submissive, intellectually curious, kind, great body. I need a combination of these qualities and cannot prioritize one over the others. Story 48. Now that we are married, I want her to be a bit more fit again. I want to work hard at my job and achieve a nice, fit body. It's really that simple. I also hope she knows how to cook for me and our future children. She's already faithful and very mature. Story 49. Similar interests are important. If I can't hang out with her unless we're having an emotional discussion or intimacy, I don't think the marriage will last long. Story 50. I asked a similar question on a platform for women, inquiring about what they consider important in a successful man. The responses varied widely, ranging from surprising to unrealistic. The most common answers included a college education, being equally career-driven, and financial independence. Not a single woman mentioned qualities like loyalty, femininity, or compassion. I am successful, fit, and eligible. At this point in my life, at 35, the most important qualities to me are loyalty, modesty, and passion. This can be echoed by nearly every man I know. Typically, women seek someone who is driven, takes care of themselves, has career advancement potential, and is emotionally mature. This makes sense. However, men often do not prioritize where a woman went to school or how much money she makes. We desire someone who can support us emotionally and physically, someone who desires us, and someone who helps create a peaceful life where we can leave our baggage at the door. In summary, be genuine and take care of yourself physically and mentally. Story 51. Accountability, femininity, no tattoos, low body count, traditional family values learned from her father, transparency, fidelity, and not perpetually seeking attention on social media by exposing provocative pictures while limiting social media exposure. Story 52. Body count and past. I apologize, but that's the baseline. Anything more than very low is an absolute disqualifier. As for appearance, if you are overweight and unattractive, then there is nothing you can offer me. Story 53. We agree on wanting the same lifestyle together, whether it involves family and children, professional aspirations, religion, tradition, or holiday plans. What we desire, we can achieve together. We also need to like each other as individuals and enjoy each other's company, especially during moments of relaxation. Story 54. Camaraderie and skill with a sword to battle the hordes. Loyalty, charisma, intelligence, financial acumen, empathy, good manners, elegance, and humor are some of the most important qualities to me. Story 55. Compatible personalities, interests, and lifestyles are essential. She primarily needs to be able to become my best friend. Story 56. Their character led to the end of many short-term relationships due to constant gossiping. Speaking negatively about friends to other friends is unacceptable for me. Modesty, femininity, personality, looks, humor, intelligence. Story 57. Loyalty, trust, respect, and honesty are the virtues I value. If she embodies these qualities, I do not need a beauty queen. She is golden. Story 58. Kindness and thoughtfulness are at the top of the list. Intelligence and beauty are necessary but not sufficient. Humor is a valuable addition. However, kindness is essential. Story 59. The ability to trust and be trusted. My wife is never jealous of my female friends or coworkers, and I am not jealous of her male friends. We both trust that those people are exactly what we say they are, friends and nothing more. Story 60. Does she help me weather a storm? Obviously, I was attracted to my wife and we had some similar interests. My wife is intelligent and articulate and made excellent grades in college. I felt like she could help me work through things when we first started dating. 10 years later, we earn a good income and have gone through a lot together. It's not always easy, but she helps me get through difficult challenges. Story 61. Strong, independently successful women. Someone who calls me on my behavior and has high standards. Yes, I'm describing my wife. Story 62. Loyalty. Honesty. She is open about her feelings but has control over herself, demonstrating emotional intelligence. Having similar goals is important, such as wanting children and deciding where to live. I tend to be a quieter person. Everything else seems manageable. If she has an interest in nerdy activities, that is a plus. Additionally, if she is passionate and adventurous, that is another significant advantage. Story 63. Someone who understands me. I consider myself a bit unusual, but my girlfriend is on the same wavelength. She has never tried to make me conform to societal norms and is just as comfortable saying, "Forget what's normal. What works for us?" as I am. Additionally, our retirement dream is to open a combination petting zoo and local butcher shop. Story 64. Clear communication of her wants and needs towards me should be direct and not in hints. Loyalty is important, as is having faith in the process. Story 65. Just to be nice and uncomplicated, it's about being a good person. I think women struggle to do this for some reason. I have only met one woman in my life who loved to have fun and let life flow. You could ask her to get in the truck, and she would jump right in without needing to go to the bathroom, put on makeup, or dress up nicely. The amazing thing about her was that she was highly attractive. If you can give a man that, you have him for life. Story 66. Wisdom and communication skills. I seek wisdom in my life. It is very important for how I operate. I would love to be with someone who shares this mindset, allowing us to maintain a calm demeanor and focus on what we can control. I admire those who can see things as they truly are beneath the surface. Great communication skills are essential. They foster loyalty and honesty in a relationship, encouraging openness. Mature situations require mature conversations, meaning no topic is off limits, within reason. Attraction can also encompass physical qualities, and I appreciate diverse body types. Story 67. Looks definitely. When you open your eyes the first thing in the morning, you want to think about how lucky you are. However, that's only one of the factors. The long-term factors are definitely intelligence and competence. You want a partner in life, not someone you always need to babysit. Story 68. Being down with the silliness. My girlfriend puts up with me when I think I'm being funny. Sometimes I walk around nude speaking in tongues because I think it's funny. Occasionally, she pretends she doesn't know me in public places. It goes both ways. Story 69. Cooperation. I don't want to feel like my wife is competing with me. I need a partner, not an adversary. Story 70. Good communication is essential. I believe that any problem can be solved if both parties are good and willing communicators. Conversely, even the simplest issues cannot be resolved if communication is lacking. Story 71. Personality is important. While looks matter, a caring, sweet, and supportive girl is even more essential. Story 72. Personality. If her personality is lacking, it will never work out long term. I have dated women with bad personalities and women with good personalities, except for the fundamental structure of their ideology causing them to pull away from serious issues out of intolerance. I will never date women like that again. Story 73. Creativity is stimulating, interesting, and irresistible, especially in women who possess a creative knack. Any form of creativity, be it playing music, painting, or cooking, can be captivating, as one hobby often leads to another. In contrast, women with no interests, hobbies, or talents can be unengaging. They may become easily bored in relationships, requiring constant entertainment, which many men recognize as a challenging situation. Story 74. Being normal means not engaging in extreme behaviors or having unusual experiences. It involves avoiding substance abuse and extreme political views, as well as not conforming to influencer stereotypes. A regular person should not have strong addictions, whether to drugs or something harmless like chocolate, and should maintain their individuality. Essentially, it means being a balanced and authentic individual. Story 75. Honestly, everything is weighted equally between personality, friendship, appearance, and intimacy. I need to like your personality and who you are to be attracted to you and to establish a good friendship. We must be best friends, or at least really good friends, for me to be interested in a long-term relationship. I have to be physically and sexually attracted to you. Otherwise, what's the point? I can't be with someone I don't crave and desire intimacy from. Lastly, we need to have decent intimacy. It doesn't have to be extraordinarily good or amazing, though it would be awesome if it were. It should at least be good. We need to be compatible and enjoy similar things in that aspect. Otherwise, one side will eventually resent the other. Overall, I am willing to accept some aspects being lesser if others are much greater to compensate. It's an all-encompassing package. If any one of these factors is poor, a long-term relationship won't last, or you'll just resign yourself to be miserable. I've experienced the complete package a couple of times, and yet things still didn't last. Story 76. Laughing and having fun. I have a deep understanding of the phrase, "that's my person." Just a solid understanding that she is the one. That's why it is so devastating to learn of infidelity. Story 77. Loyalty and communication are essential for long-term relationships. Being there and supporting one another during difficult times is an important quality. Men want to be seen and heard as well. Women who recognize that we are human beings and not heartless machines are truly valuable. Story 78. Emotional maturity is important. I don't need perfection, but I need my partner to engage in the relationship in an emotionally healthy way. We will both need extra support from time to time, and I want to know that my partner will be there for me just as I will be there for them. I'm not looking for a codependent relationship or one where I am expected to be stoic and brooding all the time. Story 79. Be cute enough for me to be happy you're naked and not acquire time. Have a sense of humor. Be kind, family-oriented, and patient. Story 80. Being intelligent and reasonable is rare. She could weigh 300 pounds and have a challenging career, but if she is reasonable and intelligent, that's what truly matters. People may cry, get angry, feel jealous, or insult you for no valid reason, driven by their own emotions. What will you do? Just respond with reason. That may not be enough. Avoid being trapped in an unhealthy relationship. Seek a partner who is both smart and reasonable. Story 81. Ability to communicate. It is nearly impossible to address any other issues if your thoughts, feelings, and needs cannot be communicated. While there are differences that cannot be resolved, the vast majority of issues can be mitigated or resolved by simply being able to discuss things. Story 82. The ability to express thoughts openly is important. As an older man, I find it frustrating that many older women seem emotionally unstable, requiring careful handling for peace and harmony. I desire a woman who can communicate her thoughts clearly, both positive and negative. I strive to treat everyone with care and transparency, but I notice that, in both romantic and professional contexts, women often miscommunicate their intentions. Story 83. Someone who can engage when I am discussing a complex subject. I mean, she might get bored, but at least she can understand the conversation. Story 84. Loyalty is probably the best aspect here. You can have differing opinions and preferences, but you cannot lack loyalty. Without security in your relationship, everything else is meaningless. However, I don't believe that loyalty is always guaranteed, so I will focus on personality and appearance. Story 85. Intelligence and a sense of adventure have always appealed to me. I love the idea of her being right by my side, whether we are on a road trip or facing hardship. I want to feel like we are partners, that no matter what happens, I am her person and she is mine. Story 86. Conflict resolution. It is my only significant red flag, aside from illegal behavior, that will affect a relationship over time. It can either multiply chaos and harm or serve as a constant source of peace and goodness. This was what I looked for the most while I was using dating apps. If we disagree, are we both able to feel heard? Are we both able to listen? Can we both recognize that it is us versus the problem, not me versus you? I cannot overstate how important I believe having good conflict resolution skills is in a relationship. Someone may lack curiosity and still be difficult, yet I can still have a genuinely better relationship with them than with someone who belittles me instead of communicating and treats disagreement as a personal attack. Story 87. She probably loves people, is emotionally intelligent, is driven to fulfill her potential, and is athletic and enjoys working out. The last couple of traits may seem more superficial, but they are significant. Story 88. Integrity, accountability, and empathy are prerequisites for any healthy relationship, in my opinion. It's inevitable that we will disagree at times, but I would much rather have an argument with someone who can admit when they are wrong and accept when I admit that I am wrong, all without holding a grudge over the fact that I initially disagreed with them. Alternatively, we can work together to find an amicable compromise if there is no objective right answer. Historia 89. Tuve una novia hace 10 años. Físicamente no era tan atractiva, pero era culta, ambiciosa e inteligente. Podía hablar con ella horas sin cansarme. Nuestras conversaciones eran muy estimulantes. Además, me demostraba de forma sincera que me respetaba, apreciaba y deseaba que mejorara como persona, disfrutando de mi compañía. La recuerdo con mucho cariño y solo le deseo lo mejor. Teníamos diferencias en valores y vida social, pero aún así disfruté mucho el tiempo que estuve con ella. Espero volver a encontrar algo así. Story 90. Respect and loyalty are extremely rare today. I don't need to come home from work to a second boss giving me a hard time. I want to enjoy and be happy with you. Story 91. Willingness to openly and freely communicate is essential. It is important to initiate conversations and be open about sexual needs and desires. Both partners should be willing to contribute equally. Some days, one partner may need to put in 80% of the effort, while other days it may only be 20%. This is simply a part of life. When we say you're amazing or express our attraction, please believe it and try to quiet any self-doubt. Lastly, remember that we are not mind readers. Even if you write things down clearly, please emphasize them for better understanding. Story 92. Her inability to grow up and change her mindset, along with her reluctance to accept new options, shows that she is not open to experiencing life and is set in her routines and restrictions. Story 93. 1. Intelligent. 2. Sense of responsibility. 3. We should be at the top of our priority list. 4. We'll discuss later. Story 94. Oil impolite 9 axiomatic cable unique skirt saw terrific employ. Story 95. I would say 1. Loyalty and trustworthiness. 2. Shared goals, values, and hobbies. 3. Having a caring or compassionate nature. 4. Having a lust for life or an adventurous spirit. 5. Intelligence. Story 96. I value a woman I can trust. Someone fun, outgoing, happy, adventurous, spontaneous, and definitely not selfish. A woman with drive and goals. Looks are important, but I would rather be with someone who has great character traits than with someone who is just good-looking. Story 97. Great sense of humor, ability to mock me anytime, focused on her career, independent. That's it. I am a simple person with simple tastes. Story 98. Kindness, compassion, humor, and curiosity are all very appealing to me, along with being attractive. However, it doesn't work if someone looks good but has a poor personality and attitude. While that may work for others, it doesn't work for me anymore. I hope that is clear. Story 99. Being positive and extrovert without making remarks about everything you do in their eyes can prevent misunderstandings. Story 100. Empathy, compassion, patience, and kindness are qualities that demonstrate care and a willingness to help when I am having a difficult time. Story 101. I prefer to communicate calmly rather than becoming upset over minor issues. Constantly identifying problems where none exist can take a toll on my mental health, so I would rather connect with someone who shares my priorities. Story 102. Personality. Everyone has heard the phrase, if she's beautiful but a bad person, I don't want to be with her. But the opposite applies to me as well. If she's somewhat below average in looks but is a good person, has a sense of humor, is resilient, and doesn't try to limit or forbid me from doing what I enjoy, I am satisfied with her. The most serious relationship I've had was with a girl whom many people wouldn't consider attractive. In fact, based on looks alone, I probably wouldn't have considered her attractive either. Story 103. Kindness and decency. A generally calm attitude, good sense of humor, sense of personal responsibility, an agreeable appearance. Story 104. Curiosity is a major trait for me. Of course, loyalty is the most important for both of us, but curiosity is one of the best qualities anyone can possess. I am endlessly curious about the world around me, and I hope to meet someone who shares the same passion. Story 105. Has similar interests. Gaming, gardening, cooking, storytelling, Dungeons and Dragons, watching shows, history, card games, and theorizing future events. If she is good at computers, that is impressive, and I would be interested in learning. Story 106. You both understand each other in a complementary way. You don't want to date a mirror, but rather someone who complements your perspective and vice versa. The combination of the two of you creates a positive effect in each other's lives. We struggle with personal challenges and the desire to become better individuals, which extends to relationships, but you find yourselves wanting to improve for each other in the end. That's meaningful to me. Story 107. Someone who is not ashamed to be seen with me. If they cannot do that, I do not want to see them in private either. Story 108. I value silliness. Charm may be false and beauty may be fleeting, but a woman who can loosen up and be goofy with me will hold a special place in my heart for as long as I live. I value faith. I am a Christian, and any woman I love will share that faith. A woman who is closer to God than she could ever be to me is a wonder and a joy forever. The idea of a threefold cord. Above all, I value comfort. When a woman feels secure in my presence, I feel as if I have succeeded as a man. The best thing in life is the warm feeling I get when a woman feels safe enough to show me who she really is without reservation, both emotionally and physically. Women who embrace their natural beauty are truly attractive. Story 109-1. They need to be able to hold a serious conversation when things between you are not right. If they avoid confrontation, such as being asked what is wrong or when you bring up an issue, it will make things much harder. They need to be at a similar level as you in intimacy, both sexually and emotionally. They don't have to be exactly the same in intensity, but at least somewhat close. Their moral values are important and should align with yours to avoid many issues down the road. If you are an ambitious individual, find out how ambitious she is. If both of you are extremely ambitious, you may face challenges later when career paths clash and a decision needs to be made as a unit regarding which career to prioritize at that moment. Consider her family values and how she gets along with her parents. Did she have a positive role model in her mother? All of these factors influence how she will be as a mother, partner, and homemaker. Is she more modern or traditional in your definition? Story 110. Just being an independent thinker. I once dated a girl a few years younger than me. One night we were about to take a nap together. She said she needed to be up by a certain time. I jokingly offered to wake her up in a way that I thought would be playful. This was something my ex used to regularly ask for, so I genuinely did not think it would be strange. She laughed uncomfortably and said no. As far as I knew, I thought that was the end of it. Later, she told me it made her really uncomfortable that I said that, as if I was just going to proceed without her consent when I was clearly asking her if she was okay with it in the first place. I found it a little frustrating because it seemed like she was treating it like an online discussion instead of evaluating the situation based on context. In my case, I asked, received a no, and then did nothing, so I frankly did not see a problem. Story 111. Mutual love and care. shared politics, similar philosophy, common worldview, shared humor, mutual absence of judgment, and a mutual sense of safety in being vulnerable. Story 112, alignment in values, loyalty, shared interests. Her strengths are my flaws and vice versa. This last point addresses a modern trend. I do not want to be with someone who is focused on cultivating a social media following. It can complicate interpersonal dynamics if she likes to film personal moments, including conflicts, and share them publicly. I am okay with casual social media usage, but I do not want our relationship to be put on display for attention. We can work through challenges privately or with input from loved ones. There is no need to involve public commentary. I consider myself very lucky to have found a woman like this. Story 113. Intelligence, curiosity, and the drive to improve oneself are essential. I strongly dislike when a woman simply gives up, stops learning, stops being active, and stops striving for self-improvement. Story 114. I value the good qualities of a woman, such as kindness, understanding, and a caring nature. She asks about my life and supports me during both good and bad times. These are the qualities I find in my significant other. Story 115. Only love and loyalty matter. Even if she is a bit cold or arrogant, I will gladly bear it. If she is clumsy, then I will become graceful. If you can love me with all your heart, then I can love you with all I have. Story 116. Kindness and respect. Enthusiastic about me, without actually being overly intense. A degree of resilience, not someone who folds immediately under the pressures of life. Reasonably fit. For the record, I hold myself accountable for embodying all of the above as well. Story 117. A deep love and passion for music, curiosity, and a desire for new ideas, as well as true unextinguishable kindness. Story 118. I am tired of seeing the same questions every week about what men find attractive in women and what they want in a partner. Can we live our lives instead of them revolving around our romantic partners all the time? Give me a break. Story 119. Honest and clear communication means that most arguments never occur because you can discuss matters calmly. This is my primary requirement by a significant margin. Story 120. A sense of humor is important. It's great to be able to give and take a little teasing without becoming sulky or offended. Is it too much to ask to maintain a healthy weight? Both of my ex-wives started gaining weight the day after the wedding. Story 121. She is able to communicate even when the news is unfavorable or makes her look bad. Do we share similar values? She accepts my flaws and doesn't make me feel inferior. I can accept her flaws and don't make her feel inferior. I look at them and feel at peace. Story 122. It is all about balance. Someone who enjoys going out and having fun but does not consider a night in a waste. Someone who likes to exercise but is not afraid to enjoy dessert. Someone who has a good work ethic but understands there is more to life than just working. Story 123. Definitely, their drive and passion are important, as is their banter. It doesn't really matter what the passion is. They just need to have it. I could listen to someone talk about it for as long as they want. I appreciate banter because I don't want seriousness all the time, or even most of the time. I want to laugh together. Story 124. Good genetics contribute to a healthy aging process. Individuals with good genetics tend to look excellent and stand out among their peers. They command respect as they age due to their perceived superiority. I would dislike dating someone who is underdeveloped in body frame, height, and facial features. I often see men who still appear youthful, resembling their teenage selves, even though they are in their 30s. Story 125. Very interesting and great question overall. Respect, honor, trust, honesty, cooperation, and understanding are some of the most important traits I value in a woman for a long-term relationship. I believe these traits should be present in an individual who is doing well in life. Being with a woman who embodies these qualities is one of the most attractive experiences I've had. Whether you are similar or different, if you possess these traits, our relationship can be smooth and fulfilling over time. It doesn't matter what challenges we face. We can tackle them with understanding and teamwork. A woman who is respectful and honorable towards herself, you, and others can foster strong bonds and offer support when needed. An honest woman, regardless of her circumstances, can be truthful, helpful, and trustworthy. Any issues that arise can be resolved with care. This way, we can achieve greatness together. At the end of the day, I love a woman who is beautiful inside and out. When a woman has these traits, she can uphold herself and enhance her mental, physical, and spiritual well-being, becoming the well-rounded partner of my dreams and reality. Story 126. Someone who is dedicated to fulfilling my relationship needs, spending time together, both physical and emotional connection, and engaging in activities together. Story 127. The environment for growth depends on how accommodating individuals can be. Though somewhat traditional, women play a critical role in reproduction. However, being nurturing encompasses all aspects of life. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.